Hey guys, so I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I was hoping to make it outside, but the last couple of days, including today, the weather has not been cooperating. It's very gray, very cloudy. It's like intermittently raining. So here we are, back on my couch. Although, here's hoping that the sound quality is better because I got a microphone. I know, finally graduating into the YouTube life. So today I wanted to chat to you about how living in Mexico City, how moving to Mexico City 3 years ago really kind of changed everything for me. As a little bit of a background, this is not the first time I've lived abroad. As the name of this channel suggests, I have been living abroad as the eternal expat since 2010. So this September will be 9 years since I moved abroad. I grew up in the suburbs of New York City, and as soon as I graduated from college, I moved to New Zealand. I spent just over a year living in New Zealand. Then I moved to Australia, where I lived first in Melbourne and then in Sydney for 2 years. Really wanted to stay in Australia, loved Sydney so much, but I just didn't have any real direction about what I wanted to do for a job. I was hopping around corporate software marketing gigs, and it just wasn't making me super happy, but Sydney was making me super happy, so it was like a toss-up between trying to live a lifestyle there with a job that made me pretty miserable. Eventually, after just over 2 years, I left Australia. I did some traveling around, and then I moved to South Korea, where I taught English for a while. I actually did that for pretty much exactly a year. I saved up a ton of money and I traveled Southeast Asia for almost 6 months. And then I ended up back in the UK with Luke, who you have seen intermittently on this channel. He's from there, and we basically both tried to figure out how we could do something that we loved and live in a place that we loved. We had never really been able to balance the two. Either we were doing jobs that we didn't like, living in a place that was great, or we were living in a place that we didn't totally love, but we were really happy with our job. So we kind of settled on Mexico, mostly because I really wanted to get my freelance writing career off the ground. I really was working hard towards growing Eternal Expat, my blog, and moving to Mexico meant a lower cost of living. Luke was able to find a job that he still loves, and we had never been here before. I'd never even been to Mexico. So moving here was exciting, scary. Obviously, all we really knew about it was what people were telling us, and unfortunately, what people were telling us wasn't super positive. But I did a lot of research about Mexico City before we moved here. And one of the reasons that I really wanted to work hard with my blog was because there just wasn't that much information out there in English about moving to Mexico City, about what it was like to live here, even like good restaurants and stuff. I know it seems crazy because now, 3 years on, Mexico City has blown up as a tourist destination and it's crazy popular, and I am not the only person on YouTube talking about how cool this city is. So that's a little background, long-winded catch up to where we are today. I moved to Mexico City in July of 2016, and so now coming up on 3 years. It's gone by so quick. There's been lots of ups and downs. I've moved around a little bit, mostly staying in the western side of the city and into Mexico State, where I live now. Right, so here's a few ways that living in Mexico has changed my life for the better. I was able to really start this business from scratch. Thankfully, Luke obviously came with a job, and I'm so lucky that we were able to use some of our savings and support ourselves with Luke's income. But I did also have a fair amount of savings from still teaching English in Korea. So moving here was a great opportunity for me to really focus 100% on my blog, on my freelance writing, and sort of on this YouTube channel, which I'm focusing more and more on now, hopefully. But I'm so lucky that I was able to live in Mexico City and write about such an awesome place, and for it to grow so much in the last 3 years has been such a great opportunity as a writer here. I've been able to come out with a guidebook, which you can buy on Amazon. It's always linked below my videos. I've been writing tons about it on my blog, Eternal Expat, and I've been lucky enough to be able to share it with you here on YouTube. And I'm like honored to be able to talk about this city and make it my job. And that never would have happened, obviously, had I not moved to Mexico City, but there's not many other places at the moment where I could have moved 3 years ago and been able to turn that opportunity into a career. So yeah. One of the things that I had no idea really about when I came here was the food. Like a lot of people, I came to Mexico and I thought, great, I love tacos. You know, we tried a lot of street food, but one thing that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about is that the produce here in Mexico is so good. We shop at a local tianguis, which is kind of like a farmer's market that comes to the village once a week. I just went this morning and I stocked up on tons of fruits and vegetables. I try to buy everything from Mexico, as in like things that aren't imported. Mexico has I believe it's still law that there's no GMO seeds allowed here, so you can't grow GMO produce here. You can import it, so I do my best to just try and buy stuff that's grown here in Mexico. It's insanely affordable. I buy enough fruits and vegetables to last all week. I literally fill bags with fruits and vegetables, and it costs me $15 roughly. So that has affected my health in such a positive way. I've never felt better. I'm healthier than ever because of the good weather most of the year. I can be outside a lot, I can go for walks, I've been running more. The altitude means that I'm super fit when I do yoga and Pilates and other sorts of workouts that I do here at home. So the quality of my health, like my quality of life health-wise, has gone through the roof. It's just, I feel so lucky to be able to enjoy the literal fruits of this country. So growing up, obviously in the Northeast, we have pretty harsh winters, great summers, but like really dark winters. I went to college in Boston, even colder, darker winters. I lived in Korea, which just has insanely cold, dark winters. And I was not just tired of the cold. It's not that necessarily that I hate the cold, but the fact that the days were so short, you would get up and you know, it's not light out until 8 o'clock, and then it's dark by 4, and it really affected like my mental health in a lot of ways. And I know that there were other pieces of the puzzle that affected me, my job, and all these other sort of things. But being able to come to Mexico where it's warm most of the year, especially here in Mexico City, it's a great temperature. It's never crazy hot. It's never too cold. It doesn't snow. And even in the winter, the sun still doesn't set until about 6:15. We have quite a bit longer days. And although that means in the summer, it stays light till only about 8:30. It's such a nice way to enjoy the day. Like it's just massively changed my mental health. And I think being able to have all of these things, great produce, good weather, a job that I love, all has meant that Mexico City really is such a fantastic place for me right now. So yeah, it's definitely affected my life and my mental health in a super positive way. Obviously, I'm not fluent in Spanish. It's still a struggle for me to devote my time to studying. And obviously this summer it's going to be great. I'm really excited to totally focus my attention on learning Spanish more. But it has been a really great opportunity to be here and really be immersed in the language. And in a way that's like very judgment free. I very rarely feel like people are mocking me or laughing at me or you know, judging me for not being totally fluent. And people are so helpful. People are very friendly. When they find out that I'm learning and that I'm trying to speak it and practice it, people are literally can't be more helpful about like, oh, let's practice now and blah, 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 like trying to help all the time. And it's so amazing. And I'm so grateful that people here are so open and helpful to my steep learning curve of the language. So yeah, that has changed my life so much, being able to communicate and really push me in a way that that nothing else really has. I don't know that I've ever done anything like trying to learn a language to this extent. I tried to learn Korean when I lived there and it was okay. I learned German for a little while in college, and but this is really pushes me out of my comfort zone constantly. And I think for me that is so positive. Like, it has changed my mentality for learning so many other things. And being bad at something, like, there's nothing like being really bad at something to give you a little perspective about the other things in your life, and also to push you towards goals for other things. I think that my motivation for learning Spanish and seeing myself progress like this has really helped me in other aspects of my life, in particular my job and my career, towards making my website and this channel better. So yeah. The last thing that I'm so appreciative of about living here in Mexico City is that I've been able to really get to know a country and a culture so much better. I've never traveled a country as much as I've traveled Mexico. I've never lived anywhere in my adult life as long as I have lived in Mexico. I'm so grateful to be able to call this country home, to call this city home, and oh my god, I'm like getting emotional. I'm so grateful that Mexican people are happy to open to sharing their culture with me, and it's changed my perspective in so many ways about people, about cultures and borders, and how we accept each other, and how we care for each other, and how we speak to each other. And yeah, Mexico did that for me. And so thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.